Good morning. Here's my screaming hordes on YouTube. And welcome, Instagrammers. Uh, Today is my practicing live that I'm doing right before my actual concert live stream, which is this evening at 7 p.m. So the day of the concert, or in terms of concert preparation, there's some pretty different things, which it didn't cross my mind until last night. Because usually with a concert, not always, but often one gets to go to the hall and have some hall rehearsal time on the actual piano that you're going to play. And it's usually a couple, or at least I try to make it a couple days before the concert. And then it just struck me yesterday. It was like, oh, wait a minute. This is the piano I'm playing for the concert. So some of the things to get ready to play on a specific piano, as anybody who plays piano knows and can tell you, as all of my students are always telling me, every piano is different. And there's a lot of differences, like the way that they feel, the resistance of the keys is different, like how stiff they feel. And the sound is different. So like how loud these notes are relative to how loud these notes are. So sort of a general relationship between the different octaves. And then there's also the issue that frequently occurs, especially with a place where they have less of a budget for piano maintenance, where some notes are not as loud as others. So if you played all the notes with an even amount, the exact same amount of force, the scale, it doesn't sound even. It sounds like ba 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 ba, like they're not even. So that's pretty normal for the places where I'm playing. They don't have a technician budget. They probably don't tune right before I go. Certainly the case here. I have a couple notes that definitely need some attention from my technician, and I have not had it done. And it just occurred to me last night, you should be practicing based on, which notes are loud, which notes are soft. I was sort of ignoring it. Yeah, so it would have been good to think of that a week ago, but I didn't. Anyway, sometimes what I do is I mark it in my score. In the program that I use, you can kind of create what are basically like custom emojis. And then you can just kind of like, with one click, you can put a mark on each note. So I have done that in the past where I sort of mark which notes are loud and which notes are quiet. And if I have a couple days to prepare, then I would actually prepare, playing my melody where I kind of whack out the notes that are don't sound as loud, and then I practice playing the notes that sound too loud. I practice playing them soft. So when I'm actually playing the melody in my house, it doesn't sound even, but when I go to the hall, it does sound even. So I'm going to do a little bit of that today, but it's only one day, so I don't know how much good that will do. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that is important that I thought of last night, and I wish I thought of sooner, is since I'm performing here, I can set up the lighting here the way it will be for the actual performance, so that I'm getting used to playing with a specific lighting, because that any kind of visual change can disrupt your memory, and the physicality of how you play the piece is part of your memory. So the less just change you can make, the better. Now, most of the time, a lot of the time when I play somewhere, there is no rehearsal. I just go there and then it's like ready to go. So, yeah, you just do the best you can under the circumstances. I'm just going to wave at a couple people that came. Hey, Paul. So anyway, those are some thoughts on getting ready to perform. And these all apply, like if you're a student and you're going to your teacher's house. I don't know that there's so much you can do to get ready. Maybe if you have an upright piano and your teacher has a grand piano, practice on your upright playing down in this register really, really, really quiet, because it's much louder on the grand piano when you go down in here. It starts to get much, much louder. The other thing that can help you feel a little more prepared in terms of this adjusting to the pianos would be just to switch up the lighting occasionally, or if you can change what it is you see when you look up from the piano, change it every once in a while, so that you just get a little bit used to having things feel different. The other thing I did before my big Carnegie Hall performance, this actually worked really, really well. before I would play my run through, I would sort of imagine that I would close my eyes and imagine that I was on the stage and everyone was staring at me. And then, of course, my heart rate would go up and, my breathing would change. And then I would play the piece through with that sort of elevated activation. You could call it that. It's a more neutral word to call it activation. And that was really good practice because the thing to learn is that even though you feel activated, i.e. Nervous, fearful, whatever, you still can play fine. It doesn't necessarily, you might even play better. Some people definitely play better when they're a little bit more activated. I tend to play better. I tend to get more excited. I can put more drama into it. So that's a good thing to practice too, is trying to imagine that you're in whatever setting it is that you're preparing for, and especially if it makes you feel a little bit, worried about what people would think or that it isn't going to go well or whatever. Just pretend that you're there. Close your eyes and pretend that you're there, and then play your whatever it is that you're preparing, and see how it goes. Either it'll go great, and then you'll know, hey, I can do it great when I'm activated, or it won't go well, and you'll have a problem, and then you can say, okay, why do you have that problem here? What can I do to fix it? How can I practice that better? If you're getting ready for a lesson, get your pencil out, circle it, or keep a list, make a list. So you can ask your teacher, okay, measure 47, I never can play that when I'm nervous. Can you take a look and see what I need to change? So that's very helpful as a teacher. So the student comes in with a list, it's this measure, this measure, this measure. Because then we can go right to the problem places and just work on them rather than having them, especially if they're playing a long piece. Some of them will say, well, I'll just start beginning and see how it goes. Well, if they're playing a 7-minute piece, that's a lot of lesson to be spent, seeing how it goes. I mean, it's fine. If we're getting ready for a concert, we often do that. But when you're kind of just learning it, that's not the most efficient way. All right, so how am I going to practice? Enough talking. So I have a list of my worst spots, that I feel the least secure about. I downloaded the recording from yesterday's Instagram Live. I didn't listen to the whole thing. It was pretty long. But I listened to parts of it to see, for the Scherzo, to see where the memory was a problem. And then for the Clara Schumann piece, just to see how it sounded. Did I like how it sounded? So anyway, that's where my list of worst parts come from. So since today's a program, the actual performance, I'm not going to play things through at tempo, because then if I mess up, it creates a sense, even more sense of anxiety when I get near that passage. So I don't want to, feel that fire anymore. I'm more going to play slowly, just to clarify in my mind, what am I going to be focusing on in that part? Because I don't have a night's sleep to, can't think of the word they use, but a lot of your learning happens when you're sleeping. So I don't have a lot of sleep between now and 7 p.m. tonight. Okay. And I have set up a little bit differently. I've done this before with different timers, but today I got out my, I have this app. Let's see if I can show you the actual app screen. This app, it's called Seconds, like, minutes, seconds. And it's an interval timer, and you can set up programs with interval timers. And so I just have it set up to beep every 7 seconds. You can just do that with your regular cell phone. But this one's a little more convenient. I don't have to push a button for it to start the next 7-minute section. So what I did last night that worked pretty well was every 7 minutes, I went to one of the parts of the Scherzo that I was most concerned about. I don't have one of them written on here. And just went over it, mostly on the slower side. Trying to practice, how do I need to feel in my body? Where do I have to get my rib cage to? How fast am I moving along? How am I shifting my weight? That's usually where the problems are right now for me, is that my weight, when I have to shift my weight, especially this way, then stuff down here doesn't go well. All right, so I'm going to turn that on. Okay. I don't know, I got this big list. Where am I going to start? Okay, I'll start with this. This is my classically most concerned place. So I'm trying to remember what was working well last night. part that went really not well yesterday. It was this part. Let's go to this. I'm just working my way basically through all the most concerning sections right now. Okay. That was good. It took me a while to get it that good last night. So the long pause before I start is I'm kind of checking in with how have I got my weight distributed over my two sit bones, and what am I doing with my shoulders. Basically, if I do something like this with my shoulders, or like this where I'm sort of lifting up the shoulder like that like this to kind of get myself over here, then I can't play it as well as if I get over here with the ribs and have my shoulder not like super like pulled down or anything, but definitely not holding it up or not holding my arm out. Those two things, at least that particular arpeggio, is a big problem if I do that. All right, so that was all the worst. Oh, and then I had a memory problem here. So, okay. I'm kind of stopping and starting because I'm making sure when there's a leap that I'm actually on the notes that I need to play before I play them. And that's part of the sort of pre-concert, day of the concert, careful review. If it was a different day and I was practicing different things, I might not be doing that. But because of when it is, that's why I'm doing that. Hey, Mo. And here's somebody, Piano Nuts. That's a cute name. Welcome. Okay. Let's do the, looking at my list of all the stuff I'm going to do. Yeah, that's a good spot to do. I did. I got my page turner set up. Okay. Oh. This is in the Clara Schumann Variations on a Theme by Robert Schumann Opus 20. When I listened to this one, it was a little bit inaccurate, and I thought the melody sounded kind of just like hammered out, as opposed to expressive. Which who wants to listen to that, right? Yeah. So that's the 7 minutes are up. And I haven't gotten through all my hard parts. The idea is every 7 minutes you play a hard part, but it takes all 7 minutes to play them. So I just keep going through them. All right, let's try it again. Where am I going to start? I guess I'll start here. Was the left hand did not know when to come in. I was playing along. This is the note before the left hand plays, and now the left hand plays. I did not know that was a problem. I had not recalled having that problem before yesterday. But I certainly don't want to have it again. That problem again, because it was like driving over a nail and getting a flat tire. It was not a fun feeling. So trying to make sure it's really solid. I'm gonna do it again. Let's do this one. Okay, I'm not so good. Let's try it again. Just practicing how I'm going to get over there. Okay. Okay, now let's do this one. That one's easier. So I was very happy with how that sounded, but let's try the harder one again. I was really concentrating on the left hand. I have to hear the rhythm of it. There's a specific rhythm inside that big scale. I don't want the listener to know the rhythm, but I need to know, otherwise I get messed up. I don't know where I am. So that's the rhythm, and that it works better when I'm feeling it in the left hand as opposed to the right hand. Okay. Spooky left hand. Oh, the trills. Oh, let's do that. Okay. Good. Okay. Just think. No. Right now it's faking. It's very confusing how the hands fit there and which notes to bring out. It's not like the worst possible spot in the program. If I mess it up, I think for the listener, it just sounds kind of like, huh? Like sort of confusing, but not. It doesn't sound so obvious that I messed up as if I like stop. So it's not a hugely risky passage, but I'd like to play it so that it sounds nice in a way that I like it. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I want it to sound like. Okay, let's try. Thing ran again. So rang again. So I'm going back to my worst spots in the scherzo. Do the trills, I think. Okay. Chopin has that part marked with no pedal. This whole thing from here. From there. Most people play it with a lot of pedal. Okay. Let's do this thing again. Actually, let's go back a little further. So this is the coda again with the octaves. So now I'm starting further back to see if I can still find the kind of where I need to be in terms of how I'm sitting when I get here. If I start before that part. And this part's really tempting to just pound like crazy, play really, really loud. And that's too heavy into the key. That's what I found out last night. When I'm too heavy into the key, then I start splatting on the octaves. Okay. rhythmic issue is at the very beginning. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, let's do this thing again. I'm actually going to do the one before. It's in a different key. So for people that just joined me, I'm preparing to play my entire 1 hour long program through this evening at 7 p.m. There'll be another live stream here on Instagram and also on YouTube. And so I'm doing my sort of pre-concert, concert day practice, which is a lot of careful review of the spots I'm most concerned about. I don't know that it makes like a huge difference exactly what I practiced today. It's more like it keeps me calmer. It's more about, maybe it's possibly more of a mindset thing than an actual physical thing. And I have a little timer set and then it goes off every 7 minutes, and that's to remind me to switch to something else rather than just obsessing about one thing. And when I'm going so slow like that, the main thing I'm working with, the main places that cause me trouble are when I'm way high and way low, and I have to try to feel like I shift my whole torso over there rather than kind of just sticking my arm out. And so that's what I'm working on. Is when you see me sitting here silently, that's what I'm doing. Is I'm sensing into like, where is my where's my weight? Do I feel balanced over my sit bone? Is my arm or shoulder kind of tense, or does it feel supported by the torso? And it's sort of vague language, but it is a very specific feeling that took me a while to find out how to find it for sure. Okay. For whatever reason, that part, knock on wood, has not ever really been a problem. Maybe because it's scales rather than arpeggios, which are further spaced apart. Okay, it's about to ring. I think I'm going to do this one more time, the coda. Okay. So these parts are getting better. I'm getting better at doing the decrescendo and not like just kind of splatting out mystery notes that art Chopin never thought of. Um, but I didn't feel like when I listened to the recording that the melodic line was clear. I mean, it had a diminuendo, but it wasn't all the notes weren't speaking in the way I would like. So that's what I'm working on now. And the way that I work on that, before I play the chord, like right here, I'm thinking about what fingers are playing. I'm sensing into those fingertips. And then I'm specifically making sure I have more weight over the finger that has to have play the melody. And that ability to sense into specific fingertips, that took me a long time. So when I worked on that before I did a competition, I don't remember exactly when it was, but around 30 years ago. I think I worked on it for 4 or 5 months. Didn't get it really 100% before the competition, but I thought, wow, this is a great thing to know how to do. So I kept working on it. Okay, because it gave me much more specific control. So I can give my body the instruction, okay, play the fifth finger louder. That's much more specific than, okay, where's the melody? That's so vague. Your body doesn't know exactly what to do in terms of, it's like writing software, for your body. It needs to be very, very specific, the instruction. Okay, enough talking. Let's do something else. Okay, yeah, let's do that. I don't like doing that, so I probably should do that. It is here. Okay. I know what I did. Usually, if you play wrong notes and they feel like they're right, and then you realize, oh no, this is wrong. No, I mean like you. I mean like you don't go to play the chord and then you sort of like miss. That's a difference. Then you go to play the chord and instead of playing this, you intentionally play this, and then you think, wait a minute, that's not right. Usually, whatever it was that you just played is present somewhere else in the piece, and you're just getting confused about where that particular chord or note or whatever shows up. Not always, but I would say, at least in terms of myself and my watching students over the years, I'd say about 95% of the time that's true. And it's good to try to ferret out where's that other appearance of it so you don't get mixed up again. So you can sort out, what's the difference between the two? How can I keep track of which one I'm on? But I didn't see this one. Maybe it's in a different variation. I don't know. No, it's here. Oh, it comes one beat later. That's where it is. It's like right next to it. Let's do this thing again. Actually, let me do this. Cool. Well, I was able to be aware of something I wasn't able to be aware of before. It's hard to put in words, so I'm not going to do it. But anyway, that was cool. Tempted to do it again, but I'm going to do something else instead. Okay, let's do this. It's highly unlikely I'll be able to be aware of that in performance. Like if I only have that awareness once in practice, it's not going to be present when I'm playing the piece through, and also when I'm performing, I'm not going slow like this. I'm just thinking about the music. Occasionally, I try to think about these torso situation things in these passages that are really really hard. I do the best I can, but it's quite different state of mind when I'm playing the piece through than what I'm doing right now. Okay. basically he's going. That's what's happening. It's very end of the piece. It's this. But the part I just played is basically this. Like that. That whole thing I played, it's just this. But it's just so pretty. I'll do this. Let me do this again. And this again. Oh, that did not go well. Just going to review a couple different spots. I'll be doing probably another couple hours of review this afternoon. But just for interest, I thought I'd play something that's not the same thing over and over. And then I was going to do this thing. So, back. That's fun. Huh. I always had trouble where it switches from this to this. Right now I had trouble without the left hand. I was thinking the trouble might be where the left hand fits, but the right hand just had a problem all by itself. So maybe that theory is not correct. Anyway. Once I get a little further down there, it's usually fine. Let's go back to here. Okay. Is that the right octave? Okay, name that tune. Who knows what piece that's from? Just kidding. It's pretty hard to know what that is if you haven't played it. Let me just go through. I'm turning this thing off. You're bugging me. Which is, of course, the whole point, right? You don't want to keep getting really involved with what you're doing. You want the point of it is to keep interrupting you, so that you're having to constantly regather your wits, so to speak, and remember, like, what is it I'm doing and what is it I need to do to play this part. That's what makes the learning permanent, is that constant having to remember. So Ravel-esque. I can have my orange cat, your orange cat. I love orange cats. I had an orange cat before my current black Zorro kitty. I love them. They're so cute. You know, I love how they look, but I don't have him anymore. He got hit by a car, sadly. Anyway. All right. Oh, yeah. I was going to do all the worst parts one more time. Let me start from here, where I love to pound. It's very tempting. Okay, here we go. It's one of my students says that about his own playing. That he says, I just pound. I was pounding. That's not good. That's where I got that word from. So yeah, if something doesn't feel perfect or my shoulder tenses up, it's good. I'm done. I don't have to worry about it too much. But of course, when I'm practicing, I don't want to be practicing that. Okay. Okay. Let's do this thing. Okay, good. Yay! Okay, hopefully I can do that well. In the heat of battle, as they say. Okay. Trills already did a bunch of those. Okay. I think I'm going to call it a day here with the practicing. I see all these lovely comments. We have forecast time for a new kitty. Well, I did get a new kitty, the black kitty. That's the kitty that you see interrupting me. The deal with the new kitty is he's younger than the current kitty, and he desperately wants her to play with him, and she's like, leave me alone. So there's a constant friction there. So that's why he's coming. My piano is in a separate building, so I bring him out here with me. He started coming out here when he was a baby, and that's something to keep him entertained. It's something they suggest with dogs too. If you have a dog that's really active or whatever, to give them to do clicker training. And so that's what we do. And so he wants to do that all the time. Basically, he thinks that's great. So that's why he's always interrupting me in the middle when I'm playing. He's like, "Oh, let's do clicker training." I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing my own training. No clicker." Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will be back at this same spot, 7 p.m. tonight. I'm going to play the entire program through. I think it's about an hour of music. That's the plan. I will refrain from talking. I love to talk, and then it gets like too long. So, and I have a lot that I could say about these pieces, but and I have said about them in the past at concerts, but I am going to refrain from that and pretty much just play them straight through. I'm going to try to refrain from it. So I hope you're able to join me tonight at 7, and it will be recorded, so it will be on my Instagram, whatever you call it, on my page, and it'll be there on my YouTube channel as a recording if you can't make it. All right, thanks so much. It's nice to see so many people here. Take care. Bye-bye. Best of luck. Thank you.